Traipsing
awful lot of like.
Call 1-800-SUNDAYS to become an MCI customer.
You want to be prepared? You watch the Weather Channel. When it comes to something as important as this, knowing what we know can make all the difference. It's all we do. Right now, it's your local forecast on the Weather Channel.
And the Arctic Express is gripping the Midwest for the second weekend of 1999. Hi, this is Jim Cantore in Cleveland, Ohio, right by the lake, mind you. We'll give you a live report next on Weather Center.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Well, there's still some messy conditions today in the Northeast as intense to severe storms threaten the South. Good morning and welcome to Weather Center. I'm Rick Griffin.
And I'm Will Annan. Thanks for joining us here this morning. We'll have more on that severe weather threat coming up in just a few more minutes. But first, a look at some of the more wintry conditions in the Northeast and also the Midwest. Take a look at the eastern part of the country first of all. We've got a lot of moisture beginning to flood its way on northward. That has caused a lot of problems during the last 24 hours, like around Hartford, Connecticut. Well, about 24 hours of freezing rain there. The airport is closed down. It's going to be some time before that reopens, probably about another 3, 4, 5 hours. So again, we could be looking at some major league jams up there. Let's see what's going on throughout the Midwestern part of the country. Here, Arctic high pressure is descending southbound again. So across Minnesota and Wisconsin, from Minneapolis to around Milwaukee and Chicago, it's going to be another wintry day. Very, very cold, bitter cold conditions. With temperatures right now, 5 degrees in Chicago, going nowhere today. Cleveland has dropped another 1 degree at 21. And throughout the far north, again, temperatures way below zero. From 15 below at Minneapolis, 26 below at International Falls, Minnesota. In a couple of days from now, it may even be colder in parts of northern Minnesota. Look at the current wind chills right now. 35 below in Titletown, Green Bay, Wisconsin. 23 below in Chicagoland. And look at this, it's getting colder in Cleveland. They were above zero wind chill wise. Now 6 below with those winds kicking on in. So that's the scene right now from Cleveland. And guess what? We've got Mr. Jim Cantore standing by in Cleveland. He's been there for the last couple of days. And Jim, what is the latest right now? It appears the snow is beginning to lighten up.
Yeah, well, we've just got a few flurries here. There's no organized banding, at least in Cleveland. We have heard up toward Pepper Pike and Shaker Heights, which are in the northeast side, that they have had a few heavier snow squalls, which is not surprising given the wind flow trajectory across the lake this afternoon, or should I say this morning. Anyway, this morning we do have a temperature of 21 degrees at Hopkins Airport, which is inland. That's a bit misleading, Will. That wind is coming across the lake. You mentioned the 5 in Chicago. Yeah, that's the pure Arctic air, so we're getting a little modification from the lake, but it's still brutal with these wind chills here at Burke Lakefront, which is where we're at, near the airport. And that wind is just coming right off the lake. It feels easily like 6 below, perhaps even colder than that. So Mom, Dad, make sure you bundle up the kids this morning if you're heading them on out. If you are heading to some events that you have this morning, people, I suggest that you give them a call if there's a number attached to that event, because there's been a lot of events that have been canceled here locally as a result of the cold and the wind. This is definitely one of the longer stretches of winter weather that Cleveland has had in a couple of years, and it's going to stay cold for at least the next couple of days. But at least the good news is most of the heavy snow, at least here in Cleveland, has ended for now. Back to you, Wilbur.
Thanks a lot, Jim, and stand by and have some hot chocolate right now. We'll get back to you at the top of the hour and see exactly what's going on in Cleveland, Ohio. This is what's going on right now. As Jim has already said, the tail end of the snows back towards the west and northwest. Could be some lake effect snows trying to organize right now, but the big stuff later on today and tonight with some lake effect snow warnings have gone out would be for Lake and Ashtabula counties. The northeastern corner of Ohio could be clipped with those westerly winds coming back into play, but that'll be a little bit later on. Primarily right now we're looking at a northerly wind flow. When the winds shift around to more westerly, that's when the big lake effect snows will clip that northeastern corner of Ohio, just east of Cleveland. You talk about another mess. It was a real mess during the last 24 hours. Heavy snow around Washington and Baltimore yesterday, up towards Philadelphia, for a brief time around New York City, and then overnight we basically saw nothing but rain and rising temperatures. There were a couple of exceptions. One is right around Hartford, Connecticut. Bradley Field is still closed, at least for the next several hours. Almost 24 hours of freezing rain. It began with temperatures in the mid to upper teens. It continued until last hour, until the temperature had risen above 32, now at 33 degrees. So it looks like a horrendous ice storm in and around Hartford, Connecticut, and it's going to be a slow go there on Interstates 84, 91. Use a lot of caution. If you don't have to venture outside, don't. Take a look at this right now. We're looking at more freezing rain and snow primarily heading up into portions of Maine right now. And just about all of those pockets of freezing rain in Pennsylvania and also New York State trying to come to an end right now. And you can see for the big cities themselves, all the way from New York City to Philly to Washington, temperatures well above freezing, so no more problems here, it doesn't look like. But you had the snow yesterday, you had a band of freezing rain, then just plain rain, and with temperatures still beginning to rise. Keep in mind, by late tonight and by early morning tomorrow, the front will begin to zip on through, and everybody turns sharply colder, even for the eastern seaboard and much of the northeastern quarter. It'll be bundle up time by early morning tomorrow. That's the latest right now in the Midwest and a very wet and also white part of the Northeast. Now we're going to check in on the deep south and the west, and with that we go back to Rick.
Thanks a lot, Will. Starting in the west, there are a few pockets of rain and snow, while in the southeast we have rainfall with a few embedded, very heavy thunderstorms, and even a chance of some severe weather this morning right along the Gulf Coast. In fact, in Bay and Jackson counties in the Florida Panhandle, severe thunderstorm warnings remain in place. Now here's the surface map, and the story today is two very dissimilar air masses fighting.
The luxury of